Hey guys, so I'm back with part 4. If you haven't seen from the beginning, I'll link it up here somewhere. I haven't totally figured that out yet, but it'll be linked. Part 3 was about my dermatologist helping me out, finding me the Blexten, but my doctor kind of saying, this is just what you're going to have to live with. This just happens to some people. Chronic hives is a thing, and you'll just have to wait it out. Can be about 3 months. So now we're into part 4. So my doctor had sent me to an allergist. So like I mentioned, it was quite a while between my dermatologist and the allergist because I'm up in Canada and getting some of those specialist appointments can take a while. So I saw this allergist in kind of mid 2018, and I had been on that Blexten for quite a while at this point. And I was pretty content. Like there was no major issues. Like every day I would take that Blexten and then I wouldn't have hives. Any day I forgot to take the Blexten, I would have terrible hives. So as long as I was on that Blexten, everything was fine. So I went to this allergist, and in order to see the allergist and have this prick test that was kind of like step 1 of this allergy test, I had to go off the Blexten for like 5 days or something, and it was a nightmare. So for 5 days, I was incredibly itchy and had terrible hives. I was just taking warm Epsom salt baths, hoping that that helped. Just trying to keep allergens off of me, and it was a really hard 5 days for me. Even just sitting in the allergist's office, I was like, oh my God, how many more minutes? Like, when can I take these Blexten again? I was a little addicted to the Blexten. They just work that well. So I get in and they sit me down to do this prick test, and they do it on my forearms, and they start to line up all of the things. And I already know I've had the blood work done, like the IgEs, not like the send out private test, but like the one that your doctor can have done. So I already knew like the, 10 things or whatever that I was allergic to. But she just wanted to confirm it. And again, you can grow into allergies. So as they're laying them all down, she's explaining what they are, and she goes up the food side and she goes, okay, and this one's going to be peanuts. And I was like, oh, before you do that, I already know that I have a severe peanut allergy. I don't know if anyone knows anything medical, but my IgEs for peanuts were like a 15 or something, a positive 15, which is like a severe peanut allergy. So I was like, I don't think that I need that one. I'm pretty, I'm okay. And they were like, well, you know what? We do it just because, like, trust me, us pricking you won't cause any kind of anaphylaxis or anything. You'll be fine. So I was like, all right, trusted that. They pricked me and everything wheeled up. The peanuts especially gave me a good sized wheel, but I was itchy, everything was puffy, and I was allergic to all the exact same things, just a few less because the blood work tests a few more things. So, and everything was fine. They cleaned me off and they put the Benadryl cream or whatever on my arms and sent me home. And I got home, showered, and went to bed. And when I woke up in the morning, my fiance ran his hand down my back and he's like, what the hell is this? And on my back, I had this massive hive. There was a few of them down my spine, but they were just like half a kiwi, like huge, huge, huge. And like all the pores were swollen around it. Like it was like, I don't have a photo, and it's a good thing because I'd have to put up a trigger warning. It's so gross. But I had these all down my spine. So I got out of bed and went into the washroom, because whenever I get hives, if I shower and kind of like just, it seems to kind of help, like get whatever's on me off of me. And when I get into the washroom, I look at myself, and my entire body, anywhere that there are bones, weirdly, is covered in hives. So like my forearms, my shins, my knees, my spine, like anywhere that's kind of bony has these massive welty hives. I do have one photo of my arm at that time. I had taken more and I don't know where they went, but this is the photo of my arm. You can see how big and deep these hives were. So I took that info. I knew I had a follow-up coming soon. And in the meantime, I had to go and get an asthma test. My allergist had sent me to this asthma clinic. So I put that info in my back pocket and headed on to the lung clinic. And I have had like an asthma attack one time. It was allergy induced. It was while I was playing soccer. And it was really, really spooky. I feel for anyone who actually has like true asthma, because I just had bad allergies that day. My lungs were all like poppy, you know, that kind of really horrible breathing. And I asked for a sub because I could feel something weird going on. My coach was just slow to it. So I'm in our own 18-yard box, and I go down and I can only inhale. I could not exhale. Like, I could not exhale, and I was getting lightheaded, and I was just, my whole body hurt from how much air. It was spooky. Like, I feel for anybody who has asthma. I get it. That's scary. I didn't think I did though, because like really it only happened to me the one time, and it was because of allergies and my lungs being irritated from the allergies. So I go to this lung clinic, and they hook me up to the machine and have me breathe into the little stick. And as I'm doing it, she's looking at the results and she looks very concerned. And I'm like, oh my God, like it's been a really hard year. I already feel like I'm dying all the time. Like, what's going on now? And she's like, okay, let's do it one more time. So she makes me do it again, and she's like, I'll be right back. She comes with her like manager or something, and he's like, all right, you know my base results. I'll hop on the machine. So he switches everything out. He hops on the machine, does it. His test normally. So he's like, nope, machine's fine. You can go ahead. And as I'm sitting there doing the second one, he's asking me all these questions like, oh, what do you do for work? And I was telling him, he's like, oh, that's really fulfilling. And I'm like, oh my God, is this bedside manner? Am I dying? Like, what is wrong with my lungs? Anyways, you don't get these results for a while. So I spent like 2 weeks really concerned that I had like some deathly lung problem. But eventually I have that follow-up with my allergist, and she tells me that my lung test results came back incredible, and that I have over 180% lung capacity. It's like the biggest W of my entire year. I was so excited. She's like, we don't even see athletes with this. I was like, geez, wow. So that was my one win of the year. But then I told her and showed her photos of what happened to me after the prick test, and she was very, very concerned. So she said she's only ever seen this one other time, when somebody's body had this wild of a reaction to a prick test. And she's like, I don't want to scare you, but it was something autoimmune, like we'll figure it out. So she sent me for blood work. So at this point now, my whole body has exploded after a prick test, which is very atypical to have that. And those hives lasted like a good day and a half, despite all the meds I was trying to take. Just very painful, big, sore. I believe it's like angioedema, like it's underskin swelling. I have it. I've experienced angioedema before. I'll explain that again in a later video, but this all over my body is what that was as well, just on bony areas for some reason. Still don't know why that was. But yeah, so at this point, I now also am finally calmed that I am not dying of some lung-related disease, but I am now afraid that I've got some spooky autoimmune disease. So I am Googling into that. She thought it was some kind of a thyroid problem. So that's what I'll be going for blood work for in the next video. As well as in the next video, she sent me for another test, an MRI, which I will also explain, because the results of that came back not as any of us expected, but I had a new diagnosable issue that I'll explain in the next one. So thanks again, you guys, for watching and keeping up with this, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.